Welcome back, my warriors. Welcome back with another episode of Vigor Warriors 2. Welcome to the channel, Vigor Warriors 2 and the 1% Club. Hope you guys are staying in your purpose this evening. Hope things are going well. Continue the fight and the battle to make you better. So please subscribe, like, donate. Once again, thank you, Alvin. Thank you, SH Shab. Those guys, thank you very much for donations. And once again, I'll leave the link if you're interested in doing that. But my main goal is to make sure that we get a lot more people out there who recognize how important this is, and they can live better, longer, happier, prosperous lives in opposition to what people are telling you in society we should have. So here again, another interesting type topic. I'm going to talk about one of my favorite books, Think and Grow Rich. And I really recommend you getting this by Napoleon Hill. And I think it's on Amazon. I'll kind of leave the link, I think, down below on this one. But we're going to talk about, in this one, I'm going to try to take different chapters of this book as time goes on. But this one we're going to focus on chapter, I believe it's chapter 9. No, chapter 11. I think it's chapter 11. The Mystery of Sex Transmutation. So this kind of goes along with what we're talking about, trying to be able to transmute your energy. And this book was written, let's see, what year did he write this book? I know I've had this book for a while, but 1963. So you even know back in 1963, they actually knew about sex transmutation, right? So why in the world did we keep this from a lot of people? A lot of people didn't really believe in this. And the book that I had, Fountain of Youth, it was also written back, I think, even before that period of time. I think it was the 1930s or 40s. And so all these ideas are out there, guys. The problem is that very few people look for them. They don't look for the actual research. They don't look for the ideas. And they believe what this stuff is telling you in the mainstream media, the doctors, all these people telling you. And they don't go look for the information themselves. And so this is a great book to use, especially if you want to achieve goals and to go ahead and make money, but also just to become a better person yourself. So let's go through some of this, and I kind of want to focus on some key points of the chapter. And like I said, I'm going to keep focusing on this book at several different times, and this one is talking about the 10th step towards riches. So the first page talking about the meaning of the word transmute. So let's look at that. In simple language, it says the changing or transferring of one element or form of energy into another. So that makes perfect sense, right? With a lot of stuff that we're talking about retention and changing your energy. We're all energy creatures, right? All the chakras, we're energy creatures, and we move from one to another. And so now we're focusing on using this energy, transmuting it to something better and something more efficient, okay? So that's one thing. The emotion of sex brings into being a state of mind. That's perfect, right? And so here's a good point. Because of the ignorance on a subject, the state of mind is generally associated with the physical. And both people, and because of improper influences, which we've talked about that a lot, the idea is that essentially the physical is what's concentrated in the mind. But the physical is not everything when it comes to the energy, right? The physical is also the spiritual and also the mental, right? And so the bottom line really is the person who is transmuting their energy is able to bring that forward from the physical, which most people think about as the only thing about sex, into more of the spiritual and more of the mental, which is going to highlight all the benefits that we see when we retain, okay? So Hill says the emotion of sex has back of its possibility 3 constructive potentialities. So 3 of them. 3 possible positive things when you retain and transmute energy. First one, the perpetuation of mankind. Perpetuity. So trying to continue the offspring. Continue generations, right? The perpetual motion, perpetual attitude, perpetual type of thing of the generation. So having offsprings, procreating, all those things is the first benefit. The second benefit, the maintaining of health, the maintenance of health. more as a therapeutic agency, it has no equal. So it says, as a therapeutic agency, it has no equal. That means there is no comparison to retaining, transmuting energy, no other health benefits that are out there. Medicines, pills, all these kind of shots, all this stuff is not the same as keeping your energy within yourself. And that's crucial. So that's why it says as a therapeutic agency, which means that it doesn't have any equal. That means, guys, keeping your things inside of yourself is the best health you can have. The reason why I believe people go into depression, anxiety, all these pills and things like that is because they have either poor diets or they're releasing all the time. And to me, that weakens the body, except when you're procreating. And the third one, the transformation of mediocrity into genius through transmutation, which means you're transforming being a mediocre type person into a superhuman person because of this. Okay? Sex transmutation is simple and easily explained, it says. It means the switching of the mind from thoughts of physical expression. So you're going from physical, and the sex that you're thinking is physical, to thoughts of other nature and changing it to other types of things. And that's the key, guys, is using that energy, focusing not on the physical, but using it to focus on other physical constructs and things that you have out there. Sex desire is the most powerful of human desires, okay? When driven by this desire, men develop keenness of imagination, courage, willpower, persistence, and craveability to them at other times, right? So strong and impelling is the desire for sexual contact that men freely run the risk of lives and reputations to indulge it. Look at the number of wars, guys, that people create. What are most wars started is because of the sexual drive, right? Because of women, right? Napoleon, for instance, he was driven by Josephine until he didn't want her anymore, and all of a sudden his end wasn't near far behind at that point, right? Let me see, other types of things. When harnessed and redirected along other lines, this motivating force maintains all the attributes of keenness of imagination, courage, etc., and may be used as powerful creative forces in literature, art, and other professional calling, including, of course, the accumulation of riches and money. Okay? The transmutation of sex energy calls for the exercise of willpower. Well, there you go, willpower right there, right? We need willpower, control, right? But the reward is worth the effort. The desire for sexual expression and expressing ourselves sexually is inborn and natural. The desire cannot and should not be submerged or eliminated. So we shouldn't be eliminating it, but you should be transmuting it. And that's a big difference. You shouldn't, obviously, you're not going to lose your sexual drive, but it's something that you should have within yourself, okay? And use it. But it should be given an outlet through which forms of expression which enrich the body, mind, and spirit of man. If not given this form of outlet through transmutation, it will seek other outlets through purely physical channels. So the key, guys, there is you've got to transmute it. You've got to take some deep breaths. You've got to think of something else to use this energy for. All right? Example, a river may be dammed, right, and its water controlled for some time, but eventually will force an outlet. The same is true of the emotion of sex. It may be submerged and controlled for a time, but its very nature causes it to be the means of expression. If it's not transmuted in some creative way, it will find a less worthy outlet. So, guys, what we're saying then is that he is saying that when you have a dam of energy and you've got a tremendous amount of energy, you've got to find ways to use it. Or else it's going to sit there and actually build up and create anger and frustration with yourself. That's why you've got to stay busy. You got to use it to do things. You can't just sit around, watching TV, watching the internet, those type of things, because those are things that are going to dissipate your energy. There's got to be a purpose for what you're doing. And you use a purpose to be able to use that energy. All of a sudden, now you became a superhuman person. And no one can stop you. No one can stop you at that point. I love this chapter. So, let's see. Here's some other types of things. Scientific research shows this. He talks about the men of greatest achievement are men with highly developed sexual natures. Men who have learned the art of sex mutation, transmutation. Guys, it is all you got to do is look at history. Whether you're talking about Tesla, whether you're talking about Benjamin Franklin, Washington, all these people, and Mike Tyson, all these people, they have tremendous amounts of energy. And what they're doing is transmuting it. Malcolm X was not a great example. Muhammad Ali is a great example. So you got to continue to use your energy in a positive way to be able to kind of do that. And I think that's the key. Number 2, the men who have accumulated great fortunes have achieved outstanding recognition in literature, art, industry, architecture, and the professions were motivated by the influence of a woman. So here's the key, guys. Now, let's put it bluntly, there are opportunities, and I'll give my wife a tremendous amount of credit with this. Motivating, if you have a good woman who's motivating you, then all of a sudden you can use that energy in positive ways to create things, right? Not just chasing, and using up your energy. Use it in a positive way. If a man and a woman are together and they're using it in a positive way, they can enhance each other. They're not hurting each other. They're not using up their energy. What they're doing is transmuting it to succeed and become more popular and more not more popular, but more prosperous and achieving things they're trying to. So most men, if finding the right woman, can be highly motivated because they're using the sexual transmutation not to release energy, to have children, but not to release energy, but to achieve high goals and things like that. All right, so let me see if there's anything else I want to do. The emotion of sex is an irresistible force. We know that, right? Against which there can be no opposition as an unmovable body. So you cannot have an immovable body, cannot compete with this superhuman, godlike energy you have when you retain. And I know that. I mean, I'm at 500 days and 502 days, and it's just tremendous energy. When driven by this emotion, man becomes gifted with superpower for action. And that's what you got, right? You're going to continue to take action. You're going to continue to drive and continue to better yourself. If you understand this truth, he says, and you will catch the significance of the statement that sex transmutation contains a secret of creative ability. That means you're keeping the energy inside of you. You're using that energy. And you're being able to create things and to make the world a better place and use that to build and create. All right. Oh, a good thing. Destroy the sex glands, whether in man or beast, and you have removed the major source of action. That's why it's important, guys, to make sure that you recognize how important this power you have is. Don't let anybody ever take it away from you. For proof of this, observe what happens to an animal after it's been castrated. Now, you see this happens a lot, right? The bull becomes docile as a cow after it's been altered sexually. Sex alterations takes out of the male, whether it's man or beast, all the fight. So, guys, if you see people castrated or neutered, all these things, they become docile. Males, especially males, should not be this way. Never be docile. That's why you go back to the beast and the werewolf and the Beauty and the Beast and the beast type of thing. You should never be docile. You should be strong and never let anyone ever take that energy away from you. Okay? And then the same thing with a female. You cannot do that, either male or female, and take away that energy. That's why we're throwing that stuff away. And we can't. Okay? The last thing I'll leave you before we get back to this next time is there's 10 stimuli of the mind. So when we look at the mind, Napoleon Hill talks about that the human mind responds to stimuli through which it may be keyed up to high rates of vibration, which is your energy, right? Knows an enthusiasm. This is why you get enthusiastic, using your creative imagination. The desire for sex expression is number 1, right? Love. Number 2. 3, burning desire for fame, power, financial gain, and money is 3. Music is 4. Friendship between either the same sex or opposite sex. Number 6, a mastermind alliance, people that are thinking the same way you do. 7, mutual suffering, such as experienced by people who are persecuted. 8, autosuggestion. We'll talk about this in another one. Fear, number 9. And 10, narcotics and alcohol. So those type of things can really influence you in your mind. And you want to take the positive side of that and make it useful when it comes to transmutation you're doing. So we're going to continue with Napoleon Hill talking about other types of things and do part 2 of this chapter. But the idea of sex transmutation is key in what he's talking about. Even back in the 1950s and 30s and 40s, They knew this secret long, long time ago. They know this for thousands of years. But the idea is that you got to save that energy. You got to retain yourself, use it for positive type of growth. All right, guys, I know I was very enthusiastic on this one, and I love this topic, and we'll continue doing this next time. Until next time, battle on.